Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Badwi Trades. Today we're joined by Theo from the mining store. Theo, how are you?
Very well, very well. How are you?
Very well, very well. Theo, who is the mining store?
Look, Mining Store is a cryptocurrency company, Australian-based, Melbourne-based specifically. It was we started building GPU mining rigs. So the owners are a pair of best friends from high school. I met Will, which is a friend of mine, when we started trading derivatives about maybe 7 years ago, which is basically around the same time he started the company. And I suppose back then we were trading, derivatives, forex market, currencies, all these types of things. And then Will, sort of said one day that he was going to start a mining company. And like, obviously I had no idea what that was, like cryptocurrency mining back then. Yeah, I thought he was crazy, to be honest. And then here we are, fast forwards, 6-7 years, I'm sort of working for him.
There you go.
Yeah, to give you context, I was probably one of their first clients, customers. I bought a GPU rig and sort of mined Ethereum from home, and it was great. It sort of changed your perspective on many things, and just how finance works, and these different types of things. So it was really cool. But I guess I learned a lot too during that experience. Like, it was obviously quite a noisy thing. It heated up the apartment at the time in St Kilda. It was just like it was very noisy, but at the same time, I think it just sort of changed my whole perspective on things. And from there, like, the boys have just kept growing. They've done very, very well. Like, obviously they were doing it when it wasn't so much a big fad or was cool at the time. So and then the 2017 bull market sort of happened, and like, obviously that was the first time I sort of saw Bitcoin and sort of got some exposure to that, and started playing around and some of the shit coins back then, and these types of things. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and to see where we are today and where we're going is exciting. So I'm very excited to have this chat, and also happy to meet you guys, your audiences too, buddy, in this crazy world that we live in terms of crypto.
100%. Theo, tell me briefly, for our audience overseas, what is crypto mining?
Okay, so the easiest way to sort of understand it is, I sort of just bring it back to like what people actually know, and people know what computers are. So for example, people have a desktop computer. Like, effectively a miner is essentially just a computer, but more of a higher grade one. There are different types of miners, and people will know, like, obviously there's GPU miners, and then there's also ASICs. But basically a Bitcoin miner, for example, is what they call an ASIC miner. It's specifically integrated to mine the algorithm SHA-256, which is the algorithm that mines Bitcoin. But again, really, for simple terms, it's just, think of a computer, what it does. Obviously Bitcoin's blockchain, at a base level, each block has thousands upon transactions inside that block. So for example, if I send to you some BTC right now, if I send you 1 Bitcoin, it will go from my wallet to your wallet. That transaction is actually recorded on that block, and then that block has obviously got thousands upon thousands of transactions in that block, but it's all muddled up. Like, so obviously we need computing power to figure out what that block is, which was when the sort of miners come in and they work in what they call syndicates or pools. They work on that block, and then basically by figuring out the equations on that block, you get rewarded in Bitcoin for figuring out that block. So right now,
the security, I'm assuming.
Exactly. So the equipment itself, you can think of yourself as more of securing the network, and basically helping support the security of the integrity of the entire blockchain. And then once that block's complete, there's a reward for that one block. Now that amount is 6.25 BTC per block. So then what happens, once it's all figured out, that block gets chained to the previous block that was finished prior. So what that means is you could go back to the very first block that was mined and the inception of Bitcoin, back in 2009, and see the first transactions in Bitcoin. Now, obviously, as the network is growing, we're needing more and more computing power to figure out those blocks, because it's not just a few $1,000s that's going through Bitcoin. Now we're talking, tens of millions of dollars, billions of dollars of transactions through the Bitcoin blockchain that needs computing power to be validated. And
in simple term, if I'm going to explain it in simple term for my audience. If you become a miner, you're helping secure the network, and you're getting rewarded with Bitcoin or partial Bitcoin, depending how many machines, for that work that you're doing.
Exactly.
Is that a simple way of doing it?
A simple way of saying it, yeah. Or you could basically think you've got a little robotic worker for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, basically working for you, and therefore, yes, you get rewarded in Bitcoin. And that number of BTC, just on that subject, so people understand, people probably know the base level of crypto Bitcoin being there's 21 million, which means it's a finite supply. But there's actually almost, over 19 million Bitcoin that's already been mined through hardware.
There's only 2 million.
So, yeah, and most people will probably think, okay, well, is it worth doing? Well, it is, because basically what happens is that 6.25 BTC per block that's rewarded to the miners actually subsequently changes through the halving events every 4 years. But what that means for people joining, we know that through the halving events, the last Bitcoin will be mined around 2140. So that's out of yours, mine, and everyone watching's lifetime.
For people that are new in the industry, the first thing they're going to ask you, what different types of minings there is, and what's the best return? That's what people are. If someone comes on from the road and asks you this question, what would you answer them?
I would answer that, and this is a very good question. It's
because most people get into crypto thinking it's easy money. They haven't been, and they all get slugged initially. They get burnt initially, then they learn within their second cycle.
Exactly. That has been the case for myself personally as well. Yeah, to answer your question in terms of profitability, obviously, with regards to Bitcoin, it's not the most profitable, but the thing to make a point of, it is the one that's been around the longest. It is the king of cryptos. In the sense, it's been around for 13 years now. It's got the most longevity, and in essence, it's not going to move away from a proof of work model. So there are other tokens that you can mine, like, for example, Cadena is probably the most profitable miner.
I'm just going to share my screen for a second, and you can share whenever you want. There's a section there you can share, and I'll approve it.
Yeah, I will.
Let me share my screen. I wanna show you something. All right, so I'm looking at this ASIC miner profitability. So this shows me there. Of course, this is an example. It shows me for $37 if I get this machine that gives you 166 terahash. Okay, $37 a day, roughly, give or take. That's not on your website. That's on ASIC miner value.
Okay.
So why would anyone mine anything else?
Well, so it depends. So what you're looking at there is basically a bunch of different miners from, obviously, like the one that I was telling you about. It is the most profitable. The top one there is a KA3 that mines Cadena. Cadena is not Bitcoin. It's obviously it's been around for maybe a completely different cryptocurrency. So it is the most profitable blockchain in terms of mining equipment, but obviously it comes with, I get the same question. What we bring back to what we're talking about before is people go, well, why don't I just mine Cadena? Well, you can, to be honest, there are people, I'm not going to lie, there's people that have joined us recently and just bought that KA3 machine, and they're looking to mine Cadena purely for the profit aspect. But the thing to sort of note is it's only been around 2 years. Yeah, you know what I mean? As good as Kadena
It
is, and
hasn't
I'm
been
not
through
saying
a bear market.
exactly, like, so you wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. I always say to people in this example, I think it's always good to start with Bitcoin first, even though the rewards aren't that as much lucrative right now, though. You know what I mean? So, like, the thing to note is, again, Bitcoin's been through so many different things. It's gone through so many different FTX situations. Last time it was Cryptopia. The time before that it was,
Mount
you know,
Gox.
Mount Gox. So there's always an exchange and all these different things. So it's gone through these conditions. So I always say starting with Bitcoin miners is generally like a good start, like to have some Bitcoin coming in first before you start to branch out. Although, like I say, it depends. If your risk appetite's a little bit, you know, look, I've looked into Kadena and I'm fine with it, then you can sort of start with Kadena. But I think some people that are mining Kadena, I know for myself personally, with the Kadena, the KA3 that I'm getting, I'm probably going to look to sell half of that, the actual Kadena each month into BTC. So I'm inadvertently mining Bitcoin with that hardware if I want to as well.
So, from my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kadena machine is not cheap, first of all, and it's not easily to come by. Am I right?
Very right. So the
Right.
first thing to note is that K3, just sorry to cut you off there, but it is set for pre-release. So the first batch of them are actually set to come out next month. So these machines aren't even actually on the network
available yet. Yeah. Okay. So for my audience, these machines are more expensive than Bitcoin, and the flip side of it is, if any rules, because they work on proof of work. Let's say any government changes the rules that you're not allowed to proof of work. They can't do that on Bitcoin because that's given. It's the oldest. But if anything changes there, or even if they have any major halt as a network, or it fails in this bear market, you would have bought a machine and that would be useless. That's why what Theo is saying, stick to the guaranteed, which is pretty much Bitcoin, because it's not going anywhere. It's proven. It's went through all the cycles and it's not going anywhere. I'm just trying to explain it to everyone at home in a simple way. Why would we go to Bitcoin first? Because of that. Obviously, you can make money here in different coins, but
definitely more profitable.
But Bitcoin is gonna always be there. Your machine will always be working, and it's proven over time.
It's definitely proven over time. But here's the thing, and I do want to make a point that I do believe that Kadena, like myself, and obviously, again, everyone can do their own research in terms of Kadena, but it's a good blockchain, and it doesn't seem to say that it's not going to be good in the future, but it is a little bit more risky just in the sense that it's been around for 2 years.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
But the thing to note about Kadena is, one thing I will say is the company that made that KA3, that if you go back to the list, sorry there, buddy. You see that KA3 is made by Bitmain, which make all of the most prominent Bitcoin miners. So what you're seeing here is the reason why I've personally gotten one is purely because of the fact that Bitmain, the biggest manufacturer of Bitcoin miners, have created that machine. So the thing is the biggest Bitcoin miners or manufacturers on the planet, they wouldn't just start making a Kadena miner if they didn't see, light at the end of the tunnel.
Potential, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like they have created one for, I don't know, Cardano or like whatever it is, or it doesn't, they haven't just, they make them L7s that mine Litecoin, and then Bitcoin miners, predominantly made up of more Bitcoin miners. But the point being is that this is the first time that they've entered the Kadena market. And the reason why is because they've seen the success of, like, see Gold Shell, which you'll see down the list. They create the KD6. Now, the KD6 was the most profitable Bitcoin Kadena miner prior to that KA3. So what you're seeing is Bitmain entering the market by creating a 4 times more powerful machine that's set to come out. So they're competing against them. So what that means to me, I just think, why would the biggest manufacturers create a machine or enter the market if they didn't think that it was going to be profitable long term?
Cool. All right. When is a good time to start mining, Theo?
Like, honestly, in my opinion, is actually during bear markets. And the reason why I say that, I can say this with experience, because like I said, when I was one of Will and Nat's first clients, and this is speaking from experiences, I was mining through the bear market, and I was, you know, mining ETH and Ethereum Classic at that point in time. And the thing was, I believed in crypto back then. And the problem was, though, is in 2019, I'd come back from a trip in Bali, and you know, I'd spent a bit of money, and I'd been holding on to my cryptos for over 3.5 years. And I thought, you know, look, oh, it's in the ground. I just spent some money on holiday, so I sold all of it at the bottom. And then, sure enough, 6 months later, after 2019, we see this massive bull run,
$10,000
halving, and yes, so you're speaking to someone that was mining through the bear market, but sold just before the bull market. And if I'd stayed in those positions, I'd obviously, you know, wouldn't be here. I'd probably be sipping pina coladas in the Bahamas or something right now. So my point is the reason why, there's two things, and I make a joke of it, but I just want to give people context. But the thing you got to think about is when the market's really high, it means that the demand for not only machines is high, therefore the price of units go up.
Machine goes up.
The machines go up, and the availability. And I'll give you an example that we were only selling this time last year. We were selling 76 terahash Avalon machines, which weren't the best. They were one down from the best, but that's all we could get during the bull run. So not only can you not get good machines when the bull market's on, but you're also
charging premium.
You're paying a premium. And so, for example, the machines that, like an S19 Pro, which we're doing for around $5-6 grand right now, that was going for at the start of the year $20,000, and people have been paying $20,000 for the past, prior to that, a year or so.
I can attend to that, because I first called you. It was in 2021. Called your store, actually. And I don't know if you answered me or someone else. I'm not sure.
It might have been me.
The price was close to 15 grand. So it was towards the end of 2021, after that crash. You know, when China banned Bitcoin and all that stuff. We had and Elon Musk about proof of work, all that stuff. When we went down to probably around 28,000, I believe. Yeah. At the time, and now those are good times now.
Yeah, exactly. So. That's the best thing.
I looked at the price then, and it was almost. It's almost what I bought today. I can buy two for the price of one that if I bought back then. So I agree with you. Buying the machine in the bear market is the best, and waiting for it for the bull market. I'm gonna share something with my followers. Look, I bought a couple of these machines, I believe, here. So that tells you, this is the mining store website, 110 terahash, right? So if you put here how much terahash power, if you want to find out how much does it generate for you, and wait for it. So this is 110 terahash. That's a machine that you buy. It generates for you around $333 a month. Okay, but which is equivalent, if you want, per year, it's like 0.13 of a Bitcoin, give or take.
I can go. I'll go through these. Like, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can just share it. I'll accept it. Just want to finish my point. So, but I wouldn't recommend anyone sells at that stage. So I would wait for the bull market to come, because that 0.13 will be worth probably your whole machine. If we hit 100K, that is equivalent to 10K roughly. So that's why I wouldn't recommend you mine in the bear market. You buy the machines cheap, and you sell in the bull market, and that's how you accumulate. That's the best way to do it. So that's exactly why I started buying.
Yeah, exactly right. So
you want to share your screen?
Just on that point, basically you're wanting to, it's the same as dollar cost averaging. So like most people that may be in crypto or brand new, or they might have heard the term dollar cost averaging, where you're essentially, you know, you're buying bits like say if you had 10,000, you don't buy say 10,000 worth of BTC straight away. You'd potentially, you know, do $2,500 investments over a period of time to get a lower dollar cost of that total investment, rather than spending the entire 10 grand in one day, if that makes sense. The same goes for mining. You're effectively forced into a dollar cost averaging strategy, because all it's doing is basically generating Bitcoin on a daily basis. Now, on your point as well, is every single person that's involved in Bitcoin mining or mining in general, it's not a short-term play. You know, these machines will last anywhere from, you know, sort of around the 4-year mark. So you want these machines to be as long as possible to accumulate as much BTC as you can. But you're right, what it does mine the S19 Pro is, like, you can look at those dollar amounts per day, but it's not the best way to look at it. Those dollar amounts that you see per day is relevant if you're looking to sell your BTC every day, which is not the case for most people. Like, what you want to do is go, I'm making 13.6 BTC per year for the next 4 to 5 years. And really, like what you just said, and I'll share my screen now because I'll just show a couple of things. Shares, present.
Yeah, present, and there should be share, and it'll appear here, and I'll let you share it here.
Share screen.
No, it should appear at my here first, that way. Did you click share?
Share, yep.
Okay, got you. Done.
Okay, let's go through a couple of things. I'll just open a new window. So the first thing we'll just talk about on that subject of is, I'll just show you so people sort of understand what how important the BTC halving is, because I think that's also a good, like, when we're all, like myself and everyone I know in the company are looking to take profit. So the best chart I look at is this
usually 6 months after the halving, usually.
Yeah, generally speaking. So and again, this might get a little bit complicated for people, but I just want to illustrate, this is the history of the price of Bitcoin, which you can see starting back here. And you can see these red lines actually for the viewers at home. They just represent when the Bitcoin actual rewards halve. So like I spoke about earlier in the conversation, you can see here it's 6.25 BTC as the reward. Now that reward prior to this marker here, prior to 2020, was actually 12.5 Bitcoin. And then the time before that was 25, BTC. So what we're doing, so this halving's already taken place, and the next halving's over here. So we're actually mid-cycle through this halving. So the next halving takes place here. So it's when we're looking to take profit after this.
What is it? April 2024, correct?
It could be, depending on how many blocks are done, it could be give or take, but somewhere in the sort of 2014 mark. But point being is, I know the numbers off by heart, but basically you can see these parabolic moves directly after the halving. You know, it went from $500 to $600 all the way up to that 20K US marker in 2017. That was the last bull run. Then it hit here. It was about 8,000-9,000 prior to this bull run. BTC was in 2019, and then obviously had that parabolic move up to 69,000. And then we're sort of now obviously bouncing around the sort of 15-20K mark, and it's sort of coinciding with these sort of bear market cycles. And then we hit that, and we sort of and the reason why is it is basically supply and demand. If you think that if the amount of Bitcoin that's being released into the economy of Bitcoin is being released at a slower rate, you're obviously going to get an impact on the price. Bottom line.
When the demand is higher than the supply, the price goes up. That's economy 101.
Exactly. And I'll just show you, let me just open this. So I'm going to show you firstly some examples of, let me just open this. I'll just show you some examples of the what do you call it? I've got them in here. So I'm going to show you now, you guys, some examples of people that are already mining. So what they get, what you actually see, and you will see also for yourself there, buddy, as well. So basically, we just open this file. Where is it?
While you're looking for that, I'm just gonna throw at you a couple of questions that my followers had on the previous show. Can you send the mining machines overseas? If someone wants to order them, can you send them through?
Oh, like that they already have?
No, they want to buy from you, and can you post them, sort of thing?
Oh, of course, yeah, absolutely. We can post anywhere in the world. That's fine. You just have to, depending on what your shipping is.
Of course, there's a shipping cost, obviously.
Okay.
All right.
So I've got an example here. So like what we're looking at before, and I'll just open both.
Just before you start there, just let me explain to the people what they're looking at. When you buy a machine, you have to hook it up to a pool, and you'll be able to see on this here how your performance is at any given time of the day. All right. So that's what he's showing you. What you will see when you set it up. Okay, Thea?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what I'm about to also show you one other thing as well. Oh, it doesn't matter. That's okay. I will just continue on anyway. So anyway, what you're looking at here is basically what you get in terms of the user interface on the pool account. Actually, you can actually view it on our, we've got a new website and platform that we've launched, but you'll see the same data. But essentially here, this client here is one of my clients. He's been with us for about maybe a year. He started with 2 machines, I think it was. And now you can see he's got a total of about 17 machines that he's got online, 17 ASIC Bitcoin miners.
17 machines at any given time. Okay.
Yep. And you can see he's already accumulated 1.4 BTC with his machines.
How long has he been?
He's been with us for maybe around a year, but he's scaled. Like, so he started with 2 machines, and then he went to like 6, and then he went to 10, and then he got 5 more, and now he's got a total of 17. So it's obviously, he didn't just start with 17. Was my point. He started with a handful, and then he slowly started building it up. And you can see here he's been paid out that amount. You can see what is his total amount of BTC that he's going to be making today and what's going to be paid out. All of this entire account is controlled by the actual owner of the miners. So in terms of the BTC wallet payout address, all that sort of stuff is controlled by you. Now, if we scroll down a little bit further, you can actually see there's a graph here that shows his total hash rate over all of his machines. So just under 1,600 terahashes total. And obviously he's got different types of machines, some that are obviously less than 100 terahashes, but the one that you got, buddy, are the ones here that you can see here, the S19 Pro. If I click on one of them, you can actually see individual performance. So obviously it's been sort of stabilizing around that sort of what it's on the box, the 110 terahashes. Yeah. So basically, the more, what people want to know, the more of this terahash or more computing power you have, the more Bitcoin you will effectively mine. Right. That's just the way that it works. Let me just find something for you. Most visitors. That's not it. And I'll just do it on our side, actually. Yeah, we'll do that. So if I put this on there, like what you were looking at before, where are we down here? So all he's doing is 1,600 terahashes, but you can see his, obviously the more BTC is earning just purely based on the amount of terahashes that he has. Yeah. That's one example. I'll just show you another one as well, a couple more so you guys can see. And again, this is another smaller user. He's got 4 miners with us. And obviously just, you know, he's already made 0.33. He's been with us for a few months. Then you got a bit more of a bigger client. This would be around about $1 million setup. This one here. This guy on my books, he's got 56 miners. You can see here he's already earned 12 BTC over the time he's been with us. Obviously, a lot more hashing power that he has got responsible. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's exactly the same thing, but basically just a lot bigger setup in terms of this example here. But yeah.
So one of the things that Theo's company does, the mining store does, is there are two options. One is you can buy the machine and you can mine yourself. It's very easy. They can help you set it up. Very easy to do it, but you'll be paying for electricity. Or you can get them to have the mining equipment, everything ready. You only pay electricity and they manage it. In case anything goes wrong or anything like that, they look after the whole setup. Am I right, Theo? So that's
100%.
another way of doing. They don't charge anything. You only pay for electricity. But for me, it's cheaper for me to do it through them than me paying electricity, because of they use a lot of renewable energy and solar clean energy sort of thing. So that's why it's better for me. Less headache. I get them to do all the work for me, and I just pay the electricity, and it's cheaper than my electricity anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. You're bang on there, buddy. And I think, this is some of the benefits of hosting right here. So like just down here, you can see we've got facilities. Just imagine we've got big data centers with which we house these units, and they just sit next to each other where they're connected and they're just working. Now, the key benefits are just what they say here. Number one, bottom line is cheap power. You know what I mean? So it's not to deter people from doing it from home, but I'd say 70% of our clients come to and let us host their machines because of that. The number one reason being the cheap power, because most of the time, if you run it in Australia, the average cost per kilowatt hour is about 25 to 30 cents per kilowatt hour, which is far too expensive. We're 60% cheaper than that. So most people will, the number one thing you have to do, if you are going to do it from home, for the people that do want to do it from home, absolutely, but you just need to figure out a way to mitigate the power costs through renewable.
Otherwise it's not worth it. Yeah.
Solar or battery packs, and if you've got those means, absolutely a great exercise to do. But the other thing to sort of consider is actually the noise factor as well. With an ASIC machine, they're about 80 decibels, so it's not really too practical to have in living quarters. So again, you save on infrastructure costs, as you can see there. We do have an on-site service center. So we can actually, fix and change machines if there's something that needs, like a fan that needs to be changed or something. We can do it on the fly, rather than you might get your machine at home and then fan goes off. What do? Got to send it back, get it. There's that downtime there as well, and there's no noise, no heat, and a lot more scalable because of the fact that we've got the space in the data centers to do it.
Yeah. Another thing, we can see as a client, we can see at any given time if our machine goes down or not. So you can see it always working or at any given time, and you can notify them. So in case anything goes wrong,
absolutely.
Which is another thing I liked about it.
And then we have I'll just show you this because you'll see this later in the piece as well. Trade Academy, where is it? Where is it? That's not it. Oh yeah, mining store. Yeah. And then you got this here. Basically, there's a chat group where we've got EU announcements where we'll publish maintenance and stuff in here. Okay. So obviously, if clients, want to stay updated, if we're going to do some maintenance, you'll know because it'll be published.
All the details. Yeah, no,
you know what I mean.
Let me ask you a couple more questions.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just asking what my guys asked, my followers asked. The machine doesn't have life expectancy. You said the life expectancy is around 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
After that, they go bust, or they will just not generate as much.
Well, it's a bit like any technology. Like it's like, because think of these machines. It's not like a normal computer where we go home, we switch it off, shut it down. The machine's running for 24/7. You know what I mean? So what ends up happening is like the chips start to deteriorate a little bit. And then, just wear and tear, really. It just won't be as performing as much. And by that point is all things considered, you should have made your return on investment hopefully by that stage, and you can sort of start to scale up on some brand new equipment or the latest generation machinery that's out at that period of time. That's generally what people do, is they'll cycle out of. So before, like last cycle was S17s, and then people went to the S19 Pros. Still S17s are still on, some of them, but then people migrated to the S19s, and then now what we're seeing is people going from the S19s to the XPs and the later models. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Question: why would they trust you, and what makes you different? Again, these are questions that they were asking me.
Look, that's a good question. I think the big thing, that reason why people come to us, and it's because we're Australian based. I think especially dealing, what we do have international clients, but obviously I would say 90% of our clients, 95% of them are Australian based, and dealing with Aussies all the time. They like people in their backyard, you know. Like, I think it's what I've found massively throughout the last few years is people, even bigger guys that could have gone to some of our competitors that are overseas. A lot of people just simply don't want to send, you know, funds, you know, to maybe wherever it may go overseas, because they just don't know, especially into China, these types of things. It's a trust issue. But because we're Australian regulated, we have an ABN. Obviously, we're really well known throughout the industry. So, I mean, I'm here talking
and you
to
have
you
a
guys.
history, I guess. You've
Exactly,
been in it for a long time.
We've been around for a long time. You can see even at some of our YouTube content when we were pushing some of it years ago. We've got client reviews. We're actually in the flesh. We've got some miners downstairs ready for people that we've got people to pick up as well. So I think that to answer your question in short is, it is because we're Australian based. And again, we're not a big ginormous company. I think the other thing that people like is the fact that we are Australian owned and operated. You know what I mean? Like, it was started by a couple of young high school friends a few years back, and it's turned into what it is today. You know, we're very well known in the space. Even we're surprised at how big our brand is, because I'll give you an example. We went to Gold Coast to the biggest Australian crypto convention earlier this year. We didn't know what to expect. This is our first time sort of putting a stand there, and we went there, and I swear to you, our stand was the busiest straight away, because everyone knew our name, you know, because we're one of the first in the Australian scene. So I think having all our clients come through was great. It was great to see the response to the brand that's already out there.
That's good. Do you provide invoices and everything? Yes, I know that for a fact. I bought it. They provide invoices, official, legit. Everything is legit. That's it's a given there. What other services? What other services do you offer?
We offer education. So the main thing is really basically. I should just show you guys as well, because the new platforms out now. But essentially, this is our new. This is basically the new platform. So we are actually under the umbrella of.
Is that? It looks like Crypto Lark.
It's Imperial Wealth is basically
that's the Wealth Mastery, the other one, yeah.
So what you got to understand is, so Will and Cal, they've got other businesses that they own as well. So what they've done is they've merged it all into Imperial Wealth. This has taken 2 years to build this thing, so like it's great to show people. But basically they've got a betting platform as well that they own and operate as well, called Cash Kings. But the crypto side of things here, the mining store is still going to be known as the mining store, but later on we will start to migrate to the new brand. But basically on here is you're going to have the Forex products, like the Trading Academy, the DeFi stuff, and also the mining equipment as well. So there's obviously the educational piece with the Trading Academy, where we teach people fundamental analysis, technical trading, and then from there, there's also the DeFi course as well. And then also the Trader X course. And then finally the mining side of things as well. So it's all in, or sort of, we're a one-stop shop
for anything crypto.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. Why, I have some links for you and underneath my videos. So now there's links. Anyone that wanna consider, if they click on the link and they book an appointment with you or a call or some sort of communication via WhatsApp or something, because a lot of them are overseas, of course. What benefit do they get because of they're going through my channel?
If you come through the channel, obviously you'll be getting the Buddy discount. So you will be getting obviously a discount on mining equipment or even the courses as well. So obviously would love to have anyone from across the world and clip, but I think we'll obviously need a bit of your help if they don't have if they don't speak English, because I could see that as being a little bit of a barrier, but obviously would leave the expertise to translate for us there, Buddy. So first of all, you'd get a free consultation to anyone that's out there with any of our product suites. So whether it be mining, whether it be the trading, whether it be the educational piece, we will actually have a free chat. Like, it's not, even if you don't want to do it, that's fine. If you just want to have a chat and sort of feel us out, and we can go through the numbers and all these
so that they'll understand how they go, whether they should get it or that you should mine for them, whatever it is. At least they'll have a better understanding. And Theo, I think that's it for us. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully we'll catch you. We should do this regularly, I think.
I think so too.
If
and
it works well.
What we can do is, the other thing that I was just going to say, Buddy, is we do a regular podcast as well, and I'm sure, like, I could ask a favor and we could get some of the other boys on your channel as well, and we could have a chat about things and maybe some of the thoughts around different areas of the site, and maybe even I'll put it to Will, but we maybe interview you on our channel as well. And
not a problem
after a little while, and see how things go. Absolutely,
not a problem at all. All right, pleasure meeting you again, Theo. Thanks again for everything, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
Yep, and thanks everyone, anyone that's watching, and lastly, like and follow us as well on YouTube if you can.
Not a problem. I'll leave the links down there, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.